Even we'll discuss about WiMAX, because licenses have been issued by the government on WiMAX, but nobody seems working on it. The WiMAX, cover citywide. Unless I've not mistaken, in Aceh, I think when they rebuild Aceh, somebody installed a WiMAX, citywide coverage of the wireless. Nobody's discussing about that.
Now we are discussing a much more important issues for economy and development. It's the next 2 billion subscribers.
The 2 billion subscribers.
Yeah, are, because when you just mentioned that the middle class is on the up and developing in countries like Indonesia, but when you look at the pyramid of connectivity in broadband, it's only the tip of the pyramid that has been touched. So what we are discussing is the next step.
Now let's discuss about this ICT development now, about the rising middle class, and you were saying about the connectivity problem, about the 2 billion subscriber. But these are talking about Asia as a whole, right?
As a whole.
As a whole. Now, the outcome of the conference, what we expect to get is individual country then will have their own programs or implementation of it.
Correct. This will be discussed on the 17th when each country will present their next projects in infrastructure. There are different countries that will be doing that, and the projects will be varied in the four industries. However, there is a whole half a day dedicated to Indonesia alone, and this will be on the 15th of April, Thursday, when the relevant ministries and the relevant ministers of Indonesia will be discussing the projects in energy, transportation, in telecommunication, and in water and sanitation or public works.
I see. Very interesting. Yeah, we seem to cover most of the grounds now, and I like to go back to Scott. Knowing your experience in the industry, in the infrastructure, how many infrastructure companies are operating in Indonesia besides Nusantara? Because I feel they're not that many.
You have to separate. We really have to separate those who are investors and operators from contractors. I mean, there are a good number of main, what we call Indonesia's construction industry is divided into one general register of all contractors. That's in the thousands. But then there's a serious group of main contractors. I can't remember the exact number. If I said 150 to 200, as long as somebody didn't jump down my throat, of main contractors here. Whether there's enough expertise to handle, say, the huge demand that if it did materialize, I don't know. But I see there are opportunities, in my view, for joint venturing with some foreign companies if they wish to come in here. See, but no, that's the construction side. There is a lot of potential investment, and even the local banks took a lot of complaint, if you like, from business and from the government by not supporting infrastructure, are more readily doing so. But that's not enough. We need a lot of what we call foreign direct investment, a lot of foreign interest in coming to meet the aspirations in the infrastructure sector. Now, I haven't asked the number. I don't know the number, because you're talking about bankers, investors, and all sorts of different people.
I'm just trying to list the toll road. You have the Jasa Marga, and you have the what's the name, Siswono's company, and then you have this Bakri toll road.
Yeah, but Jasa Marga is definitely the dominant player, like 90%.
So governments are.
It is listed, but it's still primarily publicly owned.
Right, interesting. I think ICT you're right about the private sector thing. There was a visit to Vietnam. I don't know about this story. Professor Dr. Dorjatan, the former Minister of Coordinating Affairs, went to Vietnam months ago. What he found out in Vietnam is there's a coal mine, so there's a mountain power generation, and then there's a grid going to the city, 100% owned by foreigners. So the Vietnamese government's role is only in the tariffs.
Right.
If they can do that, why can't we?
There's a lot of things that we have to do right now. You see, 83% of Indonesian industry is Java-based. This is where the heavy demand of power is, Java, the Java-Bali grid. And then in pockets in Sumatra and around the big centers of development elsewhere. You need a different philosophy when you're going to other parts of Indonesia which are remote and they don't have large centers of population. To me, there should be a different approach to those things. And for instance, East Indonesia's got lots of sunshine. We should be looking at developments with solar power along with the hydro that is potential that's there. And that was going to need a different mindset. There are now addressing tariffs which would maybe attract private sector interest in that, but it's very recent.
That's right. So different section of the country, different area of the country has different treatment.
And you have to look at it a different way.
To think of it all, Indonesia is as big as European Union, right?
It's large. In fact, when you put all the land, well, the way I used to describe Indonesia, if you put all the land here, put the 17,000 islands all together, it was the same size as Western Europe before Glasnost.
No.
Perestroika. Before the perestroika.
Yeah, we need to have.
I put this in for Slava, actually.
Thank you, Scott. We need to have a short break, and we should be coming back after the commercial break. Thank you.